Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are super excited to have you here. My name is Erin Bound Anderson of the N50 Project and the chairperson of the N50 WomenKind initiative, and I'll be your facilitator for the next hour. I'm joined by Angie Marr, Director of International Programs, who will be operating behind the scenes and answering questions in the chat as we go. Feel free to use the chat and the Q&A as we go through the rest of this hour together, capture your thoughts. We love looking at those both during and after the session is complete. So please utilize that at your discretion. To kick us off, I just wanted to set the stage around the N50 project. We are a global initiative focused on accelerating digital inclusion for the next 50% of the world's population who are not meaningfully connected to the digital world yet. We partner with organizations to create sustainable, tech-driven solutions that center marginalized communities' experience through key aspects of life and well-being, such as access and quality of education, healthcare, agriculture, energy, finance, and even environmental sustainability. For WomenKind, we are a core initiative within the N50, and we're dedicated to bridging the digital gender gap by supporting women and girls to claim their agency and power with the tools, skills, and mentorship they need to thrive in a digital world, ultimately fostering gender equity and community transformation. I wanted to pause, though, this morning is a special morning. I wanted to take this moment to express our deep gratitude and excitement. Food for the Hungry, who you will hear from later today, has officially been named the Powered By sponsor of the N54 WomenKind initiative. Their leadership, guidance, and unwavering support, especially in helping us shape our mentorship program, are poised to drive meaningful change in our mission to close the digital gender gap. So we're so excited to highlight this sponsorship at our upcoming N50 partner meeting on November 20th. We'll also be sharing additional ways for organizations to get involved. So stay tuned, more exciting news on the way. One of our core beliefs in the For WomenKind team is the importance of elevating voices of women doing extraordinary things, sharing their stories, to learn together and to push ourselves to think about how these insights can help us think more deeply about our own contexts. So in that spirit, I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce to you a truly inspiring woman from our new sponsor organization, Food for the Hungry. It's my great honor to introduce you to Rocio Cruz, who exemplifies passion and purpose behind this remarkable partnership. So Rocio Cruz is the country director of Food for the Hungry Dominican Republic. She holds a master's degree in public administration, along with postgraduate degrees in strategic leadership, strategic human resources, and project management. With over 15 years of experience in executive leadership and project and resource management, she has been with Food for the Hungry for 9 years and has served as the country director for Food for the Hungry in the Dominican Republic since 2018. Her expertise spans international business, public relations, corporate communications, public affairs, and public policy. Rocio excels in strategic management, organizational change, strategic engagement, and public speaking. Her leadership in managing senior teams and guiding organizations toward their goals is complemented by her strong communication skills in both English and in Spanish. She is a mother of two and a seasoned postgraduate lecturer who is dedicated to fostering professional growth. Rocio is passionate about empowering young girls to reach their potential and contribute positively to their communities. She's a systems thinker who believes that every person has the capacity to be resilient and to transform their situation when given the right resources and opportunities. She continues to pursue professional development while contributing to the success of Food for the Hungry Dominican Republic. I am so excited for you to hear from her and for us to engage in a conversation together after she shares a quick presentation. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Rocio. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Erin. It's really an honor to be here. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. I'm truly excited to be here today and to talk to you about how we are leveraging digital technology to build resilience for young girls in the Dominican Republic. I would also like to express my gratitude to Dan and the N50 project for the amazing work we are doing here in the Dominican Republic. I am a firm believer in collaboration and building platforms so that we can amplify the voices of those that we serve in vulnerable communities. And throughout this project and this new partnership that we are just launching, the sky is going to be the limit of how we can really build resilience and bring the next generation forward in the Dominican Republic and beyond. So thank you so much for inviting me today. And I want to talk to you now about my country, the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic, most of you probably know us as a touristic heaven. I'm sure you know about Punta Cana. But what most people don't know is that our country grapples very difficult socioeconomic issues, especially affecting our young people. Next slide, please. Our young people, and there's alarming statistics that keep us up at night. We have, unfortunately, 37% of our youth is out of school and out of a job. We have 37% of homicide victims being young people between 15 and 29. Something as alarming as 60% of our gang members being youth between 12 and 18 years old. Next slide. But I would say the most alarming statistic is the fact that we rank #1 in teenage pregnancy and early unions in the Latin American region, according to the World Bank. And according to the World Bank, in 2023, 7 out of every 10 girls in the country who has reported being involved in sexual activity said they have been pregnant at least one before they were 18 years old. This is alarming. Our country is pretty young. Most of our population, over 60%, is in their working age, and actually 34% of the population is between 15 and 29. However, what is happening to this population? How are we leveraging in this demographic bonus that we have? Unfortunately, due to all of this alarming statistic, our youth is not really reaching their full potential. Something that is really painful is to see that 30% of our youth is not working, not studying, and also that's 26%, meaning the majority and over the double of the boys are the girls that are without jobs and without an education. So we see this gender bias, how these girls are being affected. Next slide, please. Good. And once we understand how our youth, and especially our girls, are being in a disadvantaged position, as an organization, we decided to use human-centered design and a systemic approach to really understand what are the needs and what are those barriers that are affecting our youth. So we use human-centered design because we believe that we need to make sure that we don't design for the youth, but that we design with them. How we make sure that we put our shareholders, in this case, our youth, at the center, and that they are part of this process. So we use human-centered and each one of the steps. The first one was the empathy, how we bring them in and we understand them, we listen to them as our main customer so we can really understand their needs, but from their perspectives. So we can amplify their voices, and we can make sure that they understand their value. Then together with them, we define the problems, because it's not about how I see the problem, but how they are feeling and living those problems. And together, by doing a system map, we identify all those different forces that were creating these barriers for them, and especially for young girls to thrive. Then we co-created together, with them as the main actor, how we co-create solutions that are real, pertinent, and relevant to their context and their reality. And now we are prototyping. We are really trying to see how these solutions are going to address the issues and bring about change for them. Through the prototyping, we use them to give feedback and understand how they are really seeing this solution addressing their issues. And as always, you test, you review, and you continue improving. Next slide, please. This is one of our girls in one of our workshops, and it was amazing to hear her say that she now understands how the problems that are affecting them have many causes, many factors, and how you need to understand the system around it so you can really address these issues. Next slide, please. And after this project, we created a guiding star, meaning how we envision a healthy system where we have a resilient, flourishing, and productive socioeconomic system where youth positively contribute to their communities. Now, what are those factors that youth helped us identify and that we discovered that we're preventing them for reaching this guiding star, this healthy system, which is our aim for our communities in the Dominican Republic? Next slide. And here are some of the issues and those systemic challenges that our youth needed to overcome. So the first one was the absence of a life plan and life skill. Unfortunately, most of our youth doesn't see a bright future. They don't see that they have the possibility to move forward, and this perpetuates this sense of incapacity and this sense that there is not a better future for them. Then, unfortunately, we have lack of income generation opportunities. As I mentioned, 37% of our youth is not working, is not studying because they don't see an opportunity for a job, so they don't find value in getting educated. Also, one of the main ones and that we are addressing through the Edu Labs and our partnership with N50 was the lack of access to purposeful technology. Unfortunately, most of our youth have access to technology, but this technology, they don't know how to use it. They are not digital, they don't have digital literacy to really capitalize this access and use it for improvement and to develop skills that can help them have a better future. Then something that we found was a low sense of belonging. Most of our youth feel isolated and disconnected. They don't have role models. They don't have mentors. They don't see people around them that want to see them thrive and be better. Then the negative outlook for the future. Because of all of these situations, they don't see that the future could be better, and they resignate with a cycle of poverty, injustice, and marginalization. And then the lack of caregiver and adult support. Most of adults don't see youth as an important member of the society. Their needs are invisible for most of the adults and the caregivers. And this is creating this sense where the next generation is not feeling important. So next slide, please. How do we address these challenges? And this is through a systemic approach. This initiative cannot happen in isolation. We need to make sure that we create an enabling environment, an ecosystem where different partners like the N50, the Dominican Republic Ministry of Education, local partners, international partners come together to create this enabling ecosystem where we can support youth, where we can create synergies and unify forces to support our youth. We also, through the Edu Labs initiatives, are building skills for our youth. We are providing skill training that will allow them not only to access jobs, but to thrive in those jobs and to access dignified salaries when they can really bring their capacity and their potential and build the next generation in the Dominican Republic. Also, we are democratizing technology, unfortunately, as I mentioned, most of our youth, and especially girls, they don't have access to purposeful technology. They don't have access to tools where they can improve their capacities, improve their skills, and understand what's happening in the world. And then lastly, also job opportunities and entrepreneurship. Most of our youth are so smart. They have so much potential. So how do we make sure that we create the environment, we give them opportunities, we link them with different markets, we help them understand, have a business plan, use technology for all of this. And this is how we are having this systemic solution to their issues. And we are really grateful in how we are leveraging technology to all of this systemic approach, and how we're using platforms to provide our youth with access to information. I would say closing a gap that's leaving them behind. The world is advancing so fast. There is so much out there. And thanks to the access to technology and to information, now our youth is seeing a brighter future. Next slide. And that's where, our EduLab project comes into light. This is a groundbreaking initiative that we launched between Food for the Hungry, the N50 project, Intel, Smart Technologies, Kids Without Frontiers, Appliances, and the Ministry of Education of the Dominican Republic. Our EduLab project aims to close the digital divide in the Dominican Republic, providing access to technology-driven education and providing resources and creating a safe space where youth can go, learn, and thrive. This partnership has been amazing. We are currently implementing in 2 pilot sites, and we are working with the Ministry of Education to grow throughout the country. These centers have been life-changing. You can have youth not only using technology, but seeing a world of possibilities through that. And we're really excited about what has happened and what's to come through this partnership and this initiative. Next one, please. Here you can see some pictures from our Edu Labs and the inauguration ceremony, where we have people from different organizations. We had the Ministry of Education. Something that was really, really inspiring was to have this young girl. She gave the center speech for the opening, and how she now says this as an opportunity, a catalyzer that would allow her to reach her dreams. We are really excited about how these labs are changing the reality for so many girls in the Dominican Republic. Next one. Something is important is how we are building resilience, and this resilience capacity for our young girls. In the DR, as I mentioned, most of our girls are becoming pregnant. We want to make sure that we have a two-side approach. The first one, of course, is preventive. We don't want any other girl, 11, 12-year-old girl, becoming pregnant and being affected forever in her future. However, what can we do with those girls that are already pregnant, that are mothers at 15, 13 years old? What happens to them? And that's where we want to build this resilience capacity. The first one is the assertive. Okay, now you're pregnant, now what? How you take that situation, you assume the situation, and you understand that even though you have been shocked, you still have a future. How can you adapt? How can you build this resilience so you understand that you could still do great things, you can still move forward, you could still reach out your dreams? And that's where we help them adapt by providing opportunities through technology, through technical skills training, so they know that they can continue enhancing their lives, they can continue developing their capacities, and then transformative. How you go from that to seeing your situation as something that you can use as a leverage You know, you can leverage what's happening to you. Okay, now you're a mother, but now you have a possibility. You have somebody that depends on you. Now you have to be a role model, and the sky is the limit for you if you are here to support you. And that's what we're doing with this transformative capacity when we're telling girls, you can do better. You can reach out your dreams. Now you have somebody that depends on you, and that should be a force that makes you be better. Then also with those girls that we are preventing through our project, because they are now seeing a brighter future, so they don't feel defeated and they know that they can stay focused on their education. Next slide. And then, you know, throughout EduLabs and throughout our interventions, there is three pillars that we keep really close to our hearts. And the first one is how we leverage existing capacities. You know, these young girls, these young boys, these vulnerable children, they have so much capacity. There is so much in them. Even in our communities, our vulnerable communities, yes, they lack resources, but there is so much hope. There is so much capacity in there. So how we leverage that, how we create this synergy with the community where our shareholders, our youth are essential, and they understand how they can actually contribute to have a better Dominican Republic. Then the collaboration and coordination. You know, as I mentioned, I'm a firm believer in collaboration, in unifying forces, in building synergies, how we collaborate with the local actors, with international actors, with caregivers, with schools, with teachers, so we all together understand the pivotal role we have for these children and how we can together unify our forces. So we believe that we cannot achieve things by ourselves. We cannot do it in isolation. We are not the ones to be at the center. It's them at the center, and then how all of us around it can build them up so we can see a brighter future. And then empowering for sustainable change. We want sustainable change. We want to see the next generation and the generation after that one thriving, having agency and their resources so that they can flourish. And we can only do that making sure our youth is empowered, making sure our youth is the center, and that they understand how they hold in their hands the power to change the Dominican Republic so we can have a better country for the next generation. Next one. You know, and now we come to a close. There have been challenges, you know, and lessons learned throughout this process and throughout the implementation of the EduLabs project. One of the things that have been a challenge is the reality that we are a developing country, so infrastructure has been difficult, access to internet, broadband, how we make sure that we have a place where we can really provide high quality technology and access to technology to our youth, because we believe that they deserve the best. So having a lot of issues with the infrastructure, it has been a roadblock, but we have been able to overcome that. Another challenge has been to make sure that caregivers and parents understand the importance of supporting, being present, and also having their children having access to technology. And some of the lessons we have learned, you know, is the importance of key partners, the importance of making sure you understand the context and the landscape so you can really capitalize on that. For us, having the Ministry of Education being a main partner was life-changing because they opened the door. They allow us to really understand the context and align the EduLabs and the strategy to what the country is looking for. Next one, please. So we have big plans for the EduLabs. We want to scale up. We are right now piloting 2 centers, but our aim is to have at least 80 centers in the Dominican Republic in the different areas where FH is serving. We successfully signed an agreement with the Ministry of Education to expand these labs. They are really interested because they see the potential that this holds for our youth and for our children. So we're really excited, and we are working in that expansion process because we want to really reach out to the entire country so we can have each girl have access to meaningful and high quality technology to improve their lives and the future. Next one, please. And lastly, I would like to tell you, one of my favorite poets is Maya Angelou, and she has this phrase. She says, "Be the rainbow in someone's cloud." And I would like to tell you, I believe poverty is a state. People are not poor. People are in a state of poverty. They are challenged by poverty, injustice, and marginalization. But because it is a state, they can come out of it. And I'm a living testament to that. I grew up in a very vulnerable community, less than 3 miles from one of our pilot centers. And I found people in my way that believed in me, that told me that I could have a brighter future, that mentored me and opened doors for me. And because of that, I was able to be a good student, believe in my capacity. I was able to get a Fulbright scholarship and go to the United States, get an education, get a master's degree, then come back to my country to give back. And right now, through Food for the Hungry, I'm impacting thousands of girls, and I'm helping thousands of girls to have a brighter future. So you never know the ripple effect that you can create. You never know how supporting one person and being a rainbow in someone's cloud can change a life and can change thousands of people forever. This opportunity that we have and we don't realize, where these girls can be supported. How can we support girls? How can we mentor them? How can we tell them that they can do it, that they can be better? So I called you to find ways to support and mentor girls. I'm a testament to that. And now thousands of girls are having a brighter future. So you should never underestimate how much you can impact a life and a whole nation with your support. It is possible, and I'm a testament to that. This is visceral to me because I was able to have a better future thanks to the support of so many people, and now I have a commitment to be that for many girls in my country so they can have a brighter future. Thank you so much. It has been an honor to be here and to share with you. And I'm really looking forward to all that's going to be in the future through our partnership with N50 and everything that we are going to be able to do to continue building resilience in the Dominican Republic so our young girls can have the agency and the resources they need to thrive and to flourish. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Rocio, thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that we have a short 2-minute video that we thought we could share now. We can give folks on the call just the opportunity to have a look inside some of those centers that you talked about. So I'll play that, and then we will jump to some Q&A with the audience. And I have a couple of questions prepared as well. So this conversation will continue right after I guess this quick look inside what Rocio so eloquently shared with us. And goodness, I would love for her to be the leader of all of our children, right? That was so inspirational. So thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to play this video and we'll pick right back up.
En las comunidades más vulnerables de la República Dominicana, la brecha digital ha estado dejando rezagados a quienes más lo necesitan. Una falta de acceso equitativo a la tecnología ha estado limitando las oportunidades de educación y empleo para muchos. En respuesta a esta necesidad apremiante, FH Dominicana presenta con orgullo su proyecto educativo de tecnología con propósito, FH EduLabs. Con el objetivo general de reducir la brecha digital, FH EduLabs se esfuerza por proporcionar un entorno de aprendizaje avanzado y accesible. Nuestro proyecto tiene metas claras y específicas: fomentar el pensamiento crítico, la creatividad y el desarrollo de habilidades tecnológicas para preparar a los jóvenes de hoy para los desafíos del mañana.
En esta alianza público-privada sin precedentes, FH Dominicana, en asociación con el Ministerio de Educación de la República Dominicana, Intel, Geeks Without Frontiers, Smart Technologies, Appliances and N50, ha creado laboratorios tecnológicos de última generación para dotar a las escuelas más vulnerables donde FH Dominicana tiene presencia, y así dotar de capacidades a los jóvenes, adultos y principalmente a los niños, con competencias que le permitan hacer frente a los retos del presente y del futuro.
Actualmente estamos implementando este proyecto en 2 centros piloto, Monte Plata y Santo Domingo Este. Nuestra visión es expandirlo a 80 comunidades. Nuestro objetivo es mejorar el rendimiento académico, incrementar el acceso a material educativo digital y desarrollar las habilidades tecnológicas para el éxito en el futuro.
Hoy damos gracias a Dios y a las autoridades responsables de facilitarnos un centro tecnológico donde toda la comunidad del kilómetro 35 tendrá la oportunidad de desarrollar sus competencias.
Únete a nosotros en este emocionante viaje para reducir la brecha digital y hacer una diferencia real en las vidas de los estudiantes y miembros de la comunidad. Juntos podemos construir una República Dominicana digitalizada y donde los jóvenes y niños puedan aprovechar al máximo la tecnología para construir un futuro mejor.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that video with us. And what an incredible story that you've kind of laid out the background, the theory, and then seeing it come to life is something that we are really appreciative of, being able to have both your perspective, but then also see the children's faces and the kind of impact that you're having. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Rocio. I'm so excited about continuing this conversation, and this is an interactive component. So those of you who are on the webinar with us, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. We will field some of those and share them with Rocio through a facilitation process. But to get us started, Rocio, I'd love to just ask you about the centers that we just saw, those N50 connectivity kits, where all of these different pieces of technology kind of have come together. How do you see that shifting the way the girls in the communities perceive their own power and agency? Are there some specific examples or stories where you have been able to bear witness to this kind of transformation that has been laid out?
Of course. And the first thing is access, just the fact that they are now having access to much information. There is so much misinformation out there, and the fact that these young girls can have access to the right information, they can have access to technology, they can have access to digital skills and opportunities, is helping them understand that there is so much more outside of their communities. It's like they enter this center and the world of possibilities opens for them. They can see there is more than the community and the situation and all of the struggle they are living, but how they come here and they have access to so much more. They can visualize and they can dream. And definitely, we have a girl in one of the communities where we are piloting the center. She's so great. She's now being empowered. She's leading a youth network. She is being nominated for a youth prize. And how we are seeing this life being changed because she understood that she could do better. She understood there is people that is investing in you, in your community, and in your capacity. We should never underestimate the value of making somebody feel important. And these girls are feeling important because they are seeing how we are investing in their future.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's so beautiful. And it really resonates with this idea of, we always talk about mirrors and windows, right? That it's important for whoever you are to first see yourself in the experience, right? That mirror, but also windows to a bigger world, to a connection with others. And what a perfect demonstration of both mirrors and windows. So thank you for that. I saw a question in the chat. It's a connected to the one that we just explored on how are you seeing this with the girls who are coming into the center? What was your digital computer access like when you were growing up? When were you first exposed to the digital world?
Sure. So, as I mentioned, I grew up in a very vulnerable community as well. Back then, not everybody had access to a computer. It was a rare thing. But I remember when I was about 10, through the school, I was able to get access to a computer, understand coding. I remember we used to do Visual Basic 6.0, I think it was. It was the developing program that we were using. And I was so amazed of the opportunity to create, I actually, after that, I decided to do technical high school in technology because I saw how much I could access and see, even being able throughout the computer to look for other countries, see how other places look, and thinking, my reality, my actual reality doesn't have to be my future. And through that access, I was able to see it. So yes, like when I was about 10 years old in school, I was able to access technology, and that changed my life forever.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And what a testament to you, and how that shared with you a long-term vision of what you have become, right? And gosh, making such a difference. It's so incredible. How do you envision the long-term sustainability of this kind of initiative? What steps are being taken to ensure that the benefits of technology continue to support the girls' resilience even after deployment and training? What is something that helps to support that long term?
Yes, that's where the ecosystem and the platform approach comes into life. How you have partners that will continue the legacy, will continue improving and expanding. Something that has been really, really important, as I mentioned, was anchoring this in the Ministry of Education. So we make sure it goes beyond an initiative and it turns into a into a national initiative when the government, the local communities, the local schools, the school districts understand their values, so they continue to invest and expand in this. It cannot be an FH it cannot be an N50 project initiative. It has to be a community initiative, a Dominican initiative, when partners understand the importance of maintaining and scaling this project. And for us, that has been essential, bringing the community, bringing the local government, and making sure we have this dynamic ecosystem when everybody puts their potential, but also understand their responsibility in making sure this is sustainable and that it can scale so we can increase impact.
Yeah, I love that idea of it is a bigger community, way outside a much broader community than just that of folks who are currently serving the community center, of looking at it as almost these nested circles of support. And there's a question in the chat that is actually leading towards a question that I had as I was thinking about what you were describing in this kind of layers of community support in sustainability. And thinking about that, if you have the student at the center, which is what I heard you describe so eloquently, kind of in my mind, the next layer up is the family, right? What role do families, and you mentioned that a little bit about changing paradigms for how families prioritize technology access, but what roles have families and then the broader community layer played in supporting supporting or resisting, either one, the use of technology in girls' lives? How critical is the community buy-in to the success of this initiative? And as you respond to that, I'm noting that teacher layer is something that's right around the corner in the question as well. So focusing on family and community and what role they play, and then we'll kind of shift to, and then the role of the teacher as well.
Sure. And you know, for Food for the Hungry, we understand that it is essential to work with parents, to work with caregivers, with communities. And as you mentioned, one of the main things is that paradigm about what is your role, you know, as an adult, as a caregiver, as a teacher, what is your role in the development of the future of the children? So we are making sure that as part of this initiative, parent-teacher schools, caregivers are included. Teachers understand the role. They're getting trained as well. One of the things that we have had is some resistance from teachers with the adapting to technology, but they need to understand that you need to be open or you're going to be left behind. And at the end, the main thing is if we are able to change the mindset of people so they understand the value of investing in our youth. And when I say investing, it goes beyond investing economically, but investing our time, investing in caring for them and inspiring them, then how you can really see the next generation being different. And that's part of what we are aiming and we are doing throughout the labs. The labs are in school, so during school time, they are for the school children, but they are open for the community. So also parents can learn, receive technical training, open for youth. Teachers need to be trained. They are getting trained. They are learning to use the technology, learning to use the different tools, and they are seeing the benefit of having technology as an ally rather than as a roadblock for what they can achieve throughout the center with the children. But again, it all goes back to the understanding of the need, the urgent need to put our youth at the center and investing in them.
Yeah. And there's a logistical question in our Q&A. At what age or grade do children begin to use the EduLabs?
So we are starting for third grade. So children in third grade is where they are starting. So it's 8 years old, 9 years old. We believe it's the best time to get them getting used to technology. But again, it's from third grade and up during school time, but it is open to the entire community because we believe in this inclusivity. You know, these girls that are pregnant that might be out of school, they shouldn't be left behind. They need to feel included. They need to have access to it. And we are making sure that we are inclusive and that our centers are, again, a safe space for everybody to use technology for their development.
Awesome. There are a couple other questions. What are your next steps in the project, and how are your partners contributing to your upcoming initiatives?
Sure. Well, again, N50 has been amazing. Dan, thank you so much. You know, Dan has been amazing and so supportive, and he's always connecting us to new partners, bringing new opportunities, and even we every time I talk to Dan, I have a new idea coming up because he's so amazing. So our next step, as I mentioned, we want to scale up. We are right now prototyping and piloting in 2 schools. We have signed this agreement with the Ministry of Education. They are also prototyping, seeing how the labs can enhance what the ministry is doing. And the idea is that with the Ministry of Education, with other local partners, we continue to expand and we can reach out every vulnerable public school in the Dominican Republic. That's our aim, and that's why I'm looking forward. Something that we just did, Scott, I don't know if Scott is in the call, but he was here a few weeks ago, and we partnered with another local entity, is a vocational VocTech institution, local institution, so we can make the center also what is called a cost center, which is a vocational training center in the weekends for youth. So it's amazing how possibilities you can do and use this center for way much more. So right now it's becoming this center for technical training for our youth as well throughout these partners. So possibilities are unlimited.
Right, right. Amazing. All of the different ways that the community can come in and engage and be supportive and be part of it. I think that's brilliant to approach it like an ecosystem approach versus it's only for this, part of the population. It's really a communal approach. Very interesting. Someone in the Q&A, Amber, said, "Thank you, Rocio, for all the work you're doing. With the goal of building out 80 centers, are these locations that have already have broadband access, or is your team also having to work with service providers to even get broadband into the area before you can start with the center establishment?"
Yes, so we do have some barriers, especially in the border zone. Remember when I showed the map? I mean, some of the areas that need this the most because they are the most vulnerable are the border with Haiti, and over there we're having some issues, and that's something that we're actually exploring with the Ministry of Education because they also have this digital initiative to make sure that every school is connected. So that's how we are also leveraging our partnerships. But yeah, so we are exploring this, and there is broadband issues. We use through appliances. We have the EduGate box, which is also a great help, because it serves a little bit throughout the process. But yes, we are working to that. The country has infrastructure, but in some areas, there's other underserved areas that are more difficult, and we are working towards that. And that's one of the issues that we are looking to address and tackle in the expansion process.
Yeah, I would think that the sharing of the model in order to build and scale to other regions and other countries comes up a lot, and broadband would be a huge component of that. Are there some other key factors to keep in mind, or that you all are keeping in mind as you consider moving into other contexts? What are some replication implications in different, either within the Dominican Republic or even in different cultural contexts? What are some of those factors that arise for you as you have these conversations internally?
Sure. I mean, again, understanding the context is key. Understanding how much acceptance or resistance you will have from the school, from the community, and how you address that before and ahead of time, so you can have a supporting environment. I would say with the infrastructure, something that we are doing is making sure that at least the minimum infrastructure is there before we select a center. And that's something that we are working with the Ministry of Education. And then I would say teachers as well. How do you work with teachers so they see this as an opportunity to increase the impact and increase the results that they can get with children? So working with that community, and when I say community, not only the actual community, but the community, the ecosystem that's around. So they are partners that want this to come, and it's them actually convincing the rest of the community and the population, because they already understood the importance and the impact and how this technology and these centers are really changing lives.
Yeah, you're describing such an interesting, in my mind, it's an interweaving of N50 initiatives. So the Edu Labs clearly are an education initiative. We know that there is this additional For WomenKind initiative component where you're doing such intentional work to support girls and their development, and particularly by laying out some of the challenges faced uniquely in the Dominican Republic. But we see that kind of braided with the initiative for education. And I wonder if you can talk a little bit about introducing some of these new tools, right? There are computers that are new, there are smart boards that are new. And what kinds of reactions have the students had in interacting with some of those new components, just kind of anecdotally?
Yeah, surprisingly, our kids and our youth, they are very motivated. They love it, you know. For them, technology opens the world for a new possibility, and this is something that they don't see in their daily life. They don't have access to this. So being able to see, to touch a computer, they get so excited. And sometimes it's even like, you know, it touches your heart to see how these kids react to things that you might take for granted, you know, a computer, a keyboard, a mouse, even a headset, that for us is like something that we see in our daily lives, but for them it's amazing to see, to use it. So they are eager and excited, and we are making sure that we capitalize on that. And you know, our partners have been key as well. We have from Smart Technologies for the use of the board. We have a partner who said he came to the country, he went to the schools to teach and to train teachers and FH staff. So that's where partnerships again are the center, how we can really understand the commitment. We are all committed to see these initiatives to be successful, and that has been key as well.
Fantastic. I'm looking to see if there are any other questions from the group. We're just thrilled to be engaged in this conversation, and there are many different questions that are coming up for me. Can you think of any of the like gender specific approaches? I know that your centers are open to boys and girls, to the community. Are there some specific gender specific approaches, particularly when it comes to girls? And does this change the way that programs are implemented in any way, or is it more a universal experience for boys and girls?
Yes, so I would say the main thing is to changing the paradigm. Unfortunately, in the DRs, the social norm is that technology, technical jobs are for boys. And also there is this unfortunate stigma in girls, especially girls that become pregnant or have kids when they are very young, where that's it, you know, there is you need to stay home, you can have a low wage job. There is not so much out there for you after you receive this shock. And that's where this resilience and this inclusivity comes into place, when we are saying, girls can have tech jobs, girls have capacity, girls can get educated. So they are being brought in and also being exalted throughout this project. So it's much more about changing that social norm, where even themselves feel they cannot do it, but we are telling them, yes, you can. Yes, you will. You know, I love when I go to the communities, I talk to them. And so oftentimes kids ask me, are you Dominican? I'm like, yes, I'm Dominican. I was just like you. Yes, you can do it. You can be way more. You can be president. I tell little girls, you can be president of the country. You can do so much. So instilling that hope for the future and that understanding of your dignity and value as a girl is something that we are also trying to do throughout the project.
Amazing. Amazing. And I think that that's the way. It's one relationship at a time. And this visibility, again, the mirrors, right? Seeing yourself in this process, so huge. We do have another question. This last question reminds me of the principle in inclusive education that if you design for a special population, everyone benefits. So making space for girls helps boys too, ultimately. Would you agree with that in your experience and situation?
100%, 100%. And again, we need to understand the context, the social norms. And one of the issues we have in the Dominican Republic, again, are like a lot of domestic violence, a lot of situations where especially men don't understand the value of women. So when we design for girls, boys are understanding that girls have value, and they change their mindset and their behavior. And we're hoping to see a next generation where men understand the value of women and they become allies, and we have different families where girls can reach their full potential. So definitely empowering girls has these ripple effects where boys understand that they both have value and that they need to be allies and collaborate for a better country. And yes, we're seeing that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that connection to an inclusive kind of deep understanding, right? Designing for those that are marginalized, those that have disabilities, those that need anything because of their current situations, right? It benefits the entire ecosystem. Really well said. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. All right, well, we are coming to the close of our webinar, and I just wanted to thank everyone so much for participating today, for asking great questions, and we will look forward to seeing you again. These conversations continue every other month. We'll see you in December for our next webinar. We'll be virtually traveling to Uganda, among other places, so make sure to accept that calendar invite. But we are just sitting in a great space of gratitude right now. A huge thanks to the For WomenKind team that has helped to prioritize these webinars, like Rocio Cruz, who has been just phenomenal today, to connect us to trailblazing women making a difference in their fields and in their contexts, and to keep the conversations going between all of our organizations and between ourselves. We invite you, of course, to be part of this exciting mentorship program that is developing out of the For WomenKind initiative as it launches in the next couple of months. This will be a focus on connecting women from our N50 organizations to women working in communities like you heard about today and in other sessions. It's going to be transformational for everyone who participates. We look forward to seeing all of our N50 partners at our partner meeting on November 20th. And if you're not yet an N50 member, please feel free to join our team. We've got a lot of exciting changes and trajectories to tell you all about, and strategies. So we look forward to that. And in that, Rocio, again, I'm just blown away by your voice, your story, your passion and energy. You really are making an amazing difference, not only in the Dominican Republic, but in the world, by sharing this story and just by being you. So thank you so much for your time today. And we look forward to working with you and seeing you in the coming days and weeks and months.
Thank you so much, Erin. Thank you. It was great. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great rest of your day.